Welcome back to Spencer FYI. And in our series of mental health and the flood, we're going to talk to Michael Popp, who works with mostly children, right?
That's right. Yes, child growth therapy here in Spencer, and I see kids from the ages of about 5 to 25 and their immediate families if it's part of the therapy process.
All right. Well, how did you get interested in that?
I moved here with my wife about 6 years ago, and went to work for Seasons during therapy with them. And about 3 years ago, decided to go into private practice and wanted to see strictly kids. And I had some ideas about how therapy could work best, and felt like it was a calling, and so I pursued that.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's talk a little bit about what are some of the signs that maybe you yourself would see or someone would see with you if you're struggling with your mental health?
Well, there's a variety of signs. It depends on what that struggle is. It may manifest itself as fearfulness, as tearfulness in a child, being argumentative or behavioral changes, fighting with siblings, or being resistant to authoritative, suggestion from parents and teachers and things like that. It depends on the kid, but change, things that didn't seem to be happening before the event now seem to be going on, and so that's a kind of a red flag.
So what can an individual or a group to maybe help that person that may be struggling a little bit?
Yeah, ask and then listen. Ask how they're doing, Start your conversation broad and just hear it and reassess. They call it reframing. How are things going? If you get a lot of general response, then you can talk about what you notice you see that seems a little bit different. And, as much as possible, keep it from judgmentalism. I notice you're arguing with your brother a lot is probably not as good as something like, it seems like you're struggling to talk to others some of these days. Tell me about that. And listen. And listen as best you can without jumping or assessing it. Just let them talk. Let them talk. Validate what they're saying. You don't have to agree with their point of view, but validate their feelings and what they're saying. That says, I'm listening to you. Mm-hmm. I hear what you're saying. You have a right to the way that you feel. I support whatever it is that's going on with you, and I want to help you with it.
What would be maybe some warning signs after you've done that maybe they need more help than you could give them?
Some things that would be needed beyond the parents. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, there's great facilities here in Spencer and the surrounding area for kids and adults with mental health issues. The flood has created a situation by which we all need a chance to, be heard, sometimes get solutions, but a lot of times just to feel like we still belong. If you think about the word belong, it's one word, but it's actually two things, right? Mm-hmm. We are here in this situation, or my connectedness to this person or this community is long. I'm connected long. I'm being long with this thing. Well, many of us have lost those long-time things that we've had. Our homes, our jobs, our friends. It is a sense that we are no longer connected. So some of the things that you can do is become connected in the community. Go out and find things to do. Don't sit at home. Don't be looking for reasons to wallow in your problems. Go out and share them with others. They've got them too. They want to share them with you. And so, yes, maintain that connectedness with family, with friends, and with community, and you'll feel a lot better, not just because you got a chance to talk to others and to commiserate in some cases, but also those are the people in the community stuff that brings solutions and helps you feel connected, that you belong.
Awesome. We talked about too about that. Oh, it's maybe something that's come out of this flood a little bit. At least I know in my neighborhood is we got to know our neighbors a lot better than we had in the past. So,
You bet.
maybe try to keep some of those connections going.
I remember the day of the flood, the morning of, is I was going around and doing things to see how I could help at the shelter. Sarah and I both were. People would drive by and they would stop. Hey, do you need water? Is there anything we can do? And it's like, didn't know those folks, but they knew that I had a need just because I was there. We know others have a need just because they're there. And the one thing we can all do is listen. Listen and validate. I understand how you feel.
Awesome. I know one of the things that kind of has come up a little bit too is that survivor's guilt for those people that weren't immediately impacted. How does that kind of the same way with the children and stuff, that they kind of have that same deal with, like, a friend was impacted and they weren't?
I don't see that as much as I think I see it with adults. The thing that I see most with kids is a sense of loss of the way things were that gave them a sense of safety and comfort. And that sense of, why did they have it worse than I did? What did I do to deserve this? Is an intellectual pursuit. And I think kids more immediately want to make sure that they're okay, their family's okay, that their friends are okay, That may come down the road, when they realize their friends aren't in their homes anymore or they're not coming back. But that hierarchy of needs says that I need to make sure first that I'm safe. Once I'm safe, then I can move to the more intellectual pursuits. And most kids are pretty low in the pyramid right now.
So what do you maybe see as some, like, short-term, long-term impacts on kids right now?
Fearfulness, in some cases with the littles, clinginess. They might follow parents around the home, seem to be underfoot, ask a lot of questions. Sometimes they can surprise us with their straightforwardness. We've got 2, 3, 4 things on our mind, and we're trying to think of a lot of things. So giving them the time and the patience to be heard, stopping what you're doing, giving them full attention. Get those things out there, answer those questions, and then move back to what you were doing. But if they're asking a bunch of questions, they're really asking for attention. And I'm sorry, what was the
long term? Maybe what do you see long term?
In long term, I have concerns that educationally, kids are going to be distracted. They're going to be in new social situations. Some of their friends are going to be gone. In some cases, the school that they thought they were going to be in, excuse me, isn't going to be there, or they're not going to be in it for a year. So those are big things for kids, and I would encourage parents to allow their kids an opportunity not just to vent, to be heard, but to come up with their own solutions, and don't fix everything for them just because they say this is a problem for me. Discuss with them about solutions, or just simply ask questions. What do you think can happen, or what do you think that's going to look like? And then the other thing I would say is remind them to stay in the moment. Anxiety tends to manifest itself when we're too concerned with the future. What's going to happen? How are we going to handle it? Who's going to be there? Depression seems to manifest itself through regret. You know, what I should have done this, I should have said that, you know, I should have followed up with that person. And those are things we can't do anything about. The future isn't here yet. The past is already gone. We can't change anything about that. But what we can do is stay focused in the present, and then our mind doesn't get trapped in that, you know, what ifs or shoulda dones. And there's some really easy exercises people can do. I'll share a couple of them with you. 4 square breathing. And breathe in, hold for a count of 3. Breathe out, hold for a count of 3. Breathe in, hold for a count of 3. And you just do this so that you can re-regulate your breathing. When you re-regulate your breathing, then you're able to come to a more calm place. Kids love this because it's a game, something called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a grounding exercise. I'll play it with you now, okay? Name 5 vegetables.
Oh, beets, carrots, cauliflower.
Yeah.
Corn.
Yep.
Beans, peas. Did I get 5?
That's good and 5.
Okay.
4 types of vehicles.
Oh, so like, do you want like Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Oldsmobile?
Okay, perfect, very good. 3 kinds of, or 3 things that are soft.
A blanket, pillow, and a stuffed animal.
2 things that make you smile.
My family and my work.
1 thing that's red.
Oh, geez. Tomato.
Okay, good. So you notice when you're like going to retrieve these things, they create images in our mind. Our mind can only be on 1 thing at a time. The nice thing about this is it feels like a game, but it's also distracting us from that ruminating information, that what ifs, shoulda dones. Those kind of disappear into the background. So a few rounds of this, and we're no longer thinking about those things. They're quick, they're easy, anybody can do them, and often very helpful.
Awesome. That's great.
Great car game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sounds like it. So you've kind of done all that stuff. You've listened to your child, whatever, but you feel maybe they need some more help. So how do they maybe get a hold of you, or what are kind of the process? What's the process for that if they think they need a little bit more help?
Well, I'm certainly happy to talk to parents, and it starts with a phone call. They can find our contact information online. I'm listed with Psychology Today. It's Child Glow Therapy. Our website is childglowtherapy.com. If you see me in the community, just say hi. Give you a card and encourage you to give me a call. And we'll come in, we'll sit down after the phone call just to do some initial, hey, would this be a good fit? Is this kind of the services that I provide? And sit down and go over in the first meeting, hey, what's all going on? What's the background, gathering information, stuff like that. Formulate a plan to address those needs. And they call it a treatment plan. Formulate that. And from there, we move forward and try to help with those things that are creating problems, And I see a lot of kids that have behavioral issues. And those behavioral issues are almost always a communication about things that are dissatisfactory in their life. Things that changed is a big, flag. But also, kids aren't great at using vocabulary because they're still forming vocabulary. And so being able to see that that's a communication tool that they're using versus a choice that they're making to make your life harder. It can be hard for some of us, especially when we've got all these things we're trying to juggle. We take it apart, and then we have fun. Fun therapy is what kids need and want. Adults when we do talk therapy, we're using our communication style. When we do play therapy, or different forms of play therapy, we're using a kid's communication style. Additionally, I offer a couple of different modalities, if you will, treatment forms that many others don't. And EMDR, which some people may have heard about, is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a mouthful. But it's a way of helping people process trauma in a more direct and shorter way using eye movement, which replicates one of the phases of sleep called REM, or rapid eye movement. Another form is called accelerated resolution therapy. And I'm really, really excited about this because it has an average success rate about 3 to 5 sessions versus often 12 to 25 sessions, or a year or 2 years. One thing that in times like these most people don't have is extra time and extra money. And so this allows people to, kids or their family, to process these traumatic events so they don't feel as bad, or they don't feel it anymore. Forget the guy's first name, Vanderkolk is his last name, and he wrote a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it talks about how traumatic experiences are held in our body and our mind. And if we can find a way to help them, how to process them out of our physical body, then it doesn't remind our brain, and our brain doesn't remind our body. And it doesn't feel every time we think about that, or that crosses our mind, or something similar occurs, we don't feel like we're back into that scary, traumatic situation again. And that's what accelerated resolution therapy does. It allows that process, a highly scripted process, to walk through those steps in a way that leaves us feeling neutral and or positized. Positization is the term that they use. So yeah, I also use virtual reality. Work with kids, so any form of game that they're familiar with is a great communication tool. And so that virtual reality allows us to do something that's called exposure therapy without actually taking them into the situation and redoing that situation. You can do it in a gradual, non-threatening way, and they're able to process that. Modern day tools for modern day lives and lifestyles. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds great. So, is any final words or thoughts on kids and trauma, and then obviously if folks want to come reach out to you, how they can do that?
I would say we all need to keep in mind it's not forever. This is temporary. It's big, but we are all capable of doing hard things. And what your kids want most from you is help doing hard things. They want a connectedness. They want to feel like they belong. So all the things that they lost, what they didn't lose, is the connection to you, to their family, to their community, to their friends. Most of them. So help them reconnect or stay connected. Do simple things. It doesn't cost a lot of money to take a walk. Just a simple meal. Invite them in to make that. Allow them to know that you have the similar feelings, that you're upset at your losses too. Avoid making them the receiver of your negative emotion. Don't ask them to parent you through your emotions. You find other adults to do that, but let them know that you're a human being too. See this as an opportunity to connect in ways maybe you never connected with your kids, and we're happy to talk about that and help you find ways to do that. At Child Growth Therapy, I'm Michael Popp. We are on 6th Street in the Maurer Building. 26th Street, West 6th Street, I believe it is, behind Toad's Coffee, the building where Toad's Coffee is. We're one block past that on 6th Street, up on the 3rd floor. So I have evening hours, afternoon and evening hours. I start about 1 o'clock and I go till about 8 o'clock, 8:30. So hopefully we can find a way Monday through Wednesday, typically. I see myself adding Thursday here in the near future. Making ourselves available to the community. Just give us a call. We'll find a way to fit you in. We keep pretty busy, but I could use another therapist. Yeah, for sure. So anybody out there who's a therapist is looking to work with kids, also give me a call, please. But yeah, we love it here in Spencer, and we would love to see our community continue to be the open and wonderful, safe place that we found it to be when we first moved here 6 years ago. See that continue. We would love that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking some time to talk to us today, and hopefully you've given some people some tools and some tips that they can do on their own, but if they need some extra help, that they'll give you a call.
Please do. Yes, please do.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
Thanks for inviting me.
We'll be back with more right after this.